Hi, welcome to this week's Dragonblade Authors Unplugged. I am such a lucky woman. I've got Emily Murdoch, Mary Lancaster, and Madelyn Grey with us this week, and I'm just going to sit back and drink my coffee and let them run wild because getting from the back room to the recording thing, they're already running wild. So we're just going to start with a little bit of structure and then see where we end up. So the first book that comes out this week is Emily's book, and book 13 in the chances. It's like a lot of chances here, and it's give him a chance.
Yeah, give him a chance. So this is book 13 of 20. So buckle up, gang. We've still got a long way to go. But every individual book can be read as a standalone. So you can drop in at book 13. If you've never read any of this series before, first of all, where have you been? But second of all, it does not matter. You can drop in and see if you like it, and then you can go back and read all the other 12 books. So the first 4 books in the series cover 4 brothers in the Regency era. And then we skip forward with a bit of a time jump between books 4 and books 5, and we follow all of their children in the early Victorian era. And they have a lot of children. And you can find out why in the first 4 books, because they really like their wives. In book 13, we are going down to the 3rd brother's daughter.
Mary just learned where babies come from.
Sorry, Mary. Sorry. We should have done that privately. We'll talk about it more later. So book 13, give him a chance. We are focusing on Lady Lucy Chance. Now, she is an Earl's daughter, but she doesn't act particularly Earl's daughter-ish. She's absolutely passionate about the justice system in Britain and reforming it and making it more fair and making it more equitable. That does end up meaning that she spends a lot of time protesting and storming courtrooms, which doesn't make her super popular with the law around her area of where she lives in Brighton. Unfortunately, as we meet her at the beginning of the book, the judge decides to reward her slightly ostentatious behaviour and decides that if she's so passionate about reforming criminals, she should have one of her own. And he discharges the criminal in the box at that time to her personal custody, a Mr. Bernard Dixon, who is, by the way, far too charming for his own good, and a complete bounder. I absolutely loved writing him. Mr. Bernard Dixon expects to go to prison, and turns up living in an earl's house. Lucy's parents are not massively convinced by this. The slight complication is that Mr. Bernard Dixon is not actually a criminal. He's a spy. He's infiltrating British prisons. But unfortunately, his handler doesn't arrive to save him at the last minute, as always happens. So now we have a little bit of confusion. Number 1, where is Mr. Bernard Dixon's handler? And is he going to be able to keep his secret identity a secret for very long? Number 2, Lucy is meant to be in charge of a criminal. What is she going to do with him as a lady of respectability? And number 3, what happens when a lady falls in love with a criminal? It all gets very complicated. There are lots of half-truths, a little bit of danger, a little bit of shocking choices that have to be made, and a surprise visit by a member of the Chance family who hasn't had their book yet, and we get a surprising reveal about them to tease up for their own book that's coming soon.
Oh, fun.
I know, I had so much fun writing this, and I think the joys and the challenges of writing heroes who are not dukes, and don't get me wrong, I love me a duke, I've written plenty of dukes, is that Bernard is a bit scruffy, and he's had to learn how to live on very little, and he's had to learn how to use his wits, and he knows his way around a blade, and he knows how to persuade people to do what he wants in a very charming manner. And Lucy's never actually spoken to a prisoner ever. It's always been very theoretical. It's always been petitions and letter writing and being very outraged at posh dinners. And actually facing the reality, or so she thinks, of a criminal is rather shocking. And so there's a lot of fire, there's a lot of self-righteousness on both sides, there's a lot of misunderstandings, and her parents are absolutely exhausted.
Oh, I can imagine. It would be hard enough to have a daughter that protested in that time, but then to have her come home with somebody.
Yeah, and what I love about this particular branch of the Chance family is that Lucy's older sister Evelyn has gone off and got married to become an artist, and she's just disappeared off. She's always where her family aren't. She loves them very much, but they hamper her creative style. And her husband, who is besotted with her, is very happy to take her all over the country. Lucy has a brother who is, bless him, utterly useless. In a very charming way. He knows he's not the smartest tack in a box, and he means very well. But of course, his meddling only confuses everyone else all the time anyway. And when you've got a criminal who's actually a spy who has other secrets as well, which you have to read to find out, the well-meaning brother really causes quite a lot of complication.
Oh, well, it sounds like a blast. And we still have 7 more to go, right?
We have 7 more to go. We have some very exciting tropes coming up. We've got Matchmaker Gone Wrong coming up. We've got Second Chance, Broken Engagement coming up. We've got Mistaken Identity coming up. So we've got lots of really exciting, juicy tropes. But it's all very much within not just meddling family, but found family. Everyone's making, their own world and their own choices, because we all love our families, but we wouldn't always necessarily choose them. She says delicately, "Hi mum, if you're watching." And so I really like this series because it's such an ensemble cast, because we have 20 books to explore secondary characters.
They can come back.
You do have a lot of people coming back, a lot of family members coming back, a lot of friends coming back, again lots of well-meaning but meddling brothers often turning up, making demands and threatening Jules and frankly getting in the way. So it's a real joy. I have to admit I have finished writing the whole series, so I write quite far ahead, and I wrote a very, very intense epilogue for the last book with everyone returning, but you can't get to that yet. You've got to read this book first.
We're going to talk about that after we get done talking about the books, about what it's like to finish a long series where you've been with the characters. Yeah. So we'll get back to that. But first we have to talk about Mary's book, and this is also a substantial series. It's Silver and Grey. This is book 9, and it's The Corpse in the Canal. And I love it that you just it's just right out there. There's going to be a dead guy in the canal.
Got to start somewhere.
Can you tell us about this one?
Yeah, it's the last in the series, so things are about to change a little bit for our hero and heroine. They're, if you haven't read the rest of them yet, they are married by now, and they solve mysteries for a living. They're a mismatched couple in many ways, but they're very happy together, or think they are. But things are about to go a little bit. Well, they have more problems to get over, let's say.
Problems okay, but don't break your promise. I want the happily ever after at the end too.
Oh well, you're bound to get a happily ever after, but I won't tell you how it works. It opens with them being sort of bullied into taking case of a missing, spoiled young man, but they don't actually believe that he's missing. They think he's gone off on a bender. He's having a laugh, they reckon. But then he turns up dead in the canal. So they have to find out what happened to him. The trouble is, he's not a very likable man, and he's made a lot of enemies, both in London and around his home village. So there's a lot of people who are not sorry to see him go. So they have to work out which of these people actually did it. And their chief suspect is turns out to be somebody from Solomon's past who he was very fond of at the time. So that causes a little bit of jealousy for Constance, who's always a little bit insecure in her position as his wife. So there's that to contend with. And then she's obviously hiding some kind of secret from him as well, which has to come out before the end. But yeah, you have to read the book to find out what happens, obviously, because I can't tell you. But hopefully they will solve the case and live happily ever after. And there are also some of them, the minor characters met before, like Constance's mother and her maid from the early stages, who is now working for them in the detective agency. They also get a happy ending, and Solomon's brother meets somebody interesting too.
Oh my goodness, those are bonus happies all over the place.
Well, you've got to end the series in style, I feel. But it's a bit trouble getting there, but they do.
It tickles me when authors have trouble remembering characters, because I don't think readers understand that you can make somebody up, spend a lot of time with them, and then forget everything about them because you've already moved up to the next the next
Well, you moved on by the time they're reading it. You moved on a few books, so you're like,
Yeah, they were so important at the time, but
yeah, they've gone.
well, that sounds great. I'm sorry we're getting to or that we've gotten to the end of it, because I love that that slow burn romance the whole way through to married and beyond. So we get to see the couple go through that kind of whole long evolution. So I think these are great.
Yeah, well, I'll miss them, I think. I do miss them, but it's time to go.
Well, the next book that comes out this week is Ties of Passion. It's by Lauren Everly, and it's book 3 in the Secrets of the Sea series. So I'll make sure I pop the link to that in the comments so you can get it if you haven't. And then the one after that is Madelyn's book, and it's To Hold a Rebel's Heart, and it's book two in the Heart's Rebellion series. Can you tell us about that one?
Sure. Hopefully by the time I get to like 13 books like Emily, I'll be less nervous about talking. But yes, it takes place during the first 2 take place during the American Revolution. So I'm lucky I got to release in time for the 4th. And this one, like, oddly, I've never written childhood friends to lovers before. And I'm like, what took me so long? Because they're just instantly, connected, and it takes a lot of the hard parts out of it. But Seth's mother was a midwife, so they delivered Laura, so they basically know each other since they were babies. And he, of course, he's a school teacher, and he decides that instead of like teaching history, he wants to make it. So he sets off to join the war and he becomes a captain. And he's gone for 2 years, and he comes back, and during this time, Laura has been she didn't want to tell him that she's been promised to a Pennsylvania congressman, because they're in Pennsylvania. But she doesn't know that he's been in love with her this whole time. So, she basically decides, like, I want to come with you when you go back, because she feels like she can serve her country a whole lot better afar. But she's an heiress, so she has never done any chores. She's never lifted a finger in her life, basically. And so it's fun because I got to write a fish out of water thing, because she has to become a camp follower, and they very different, because she has to, at one point, she's literally digging latrines for the soldiers. So she has to, and she's doing their laundry and mending their uniforms. So it's a very big, different kind of world thing. All of my heroes in my series end up either with like PTSD or a disability of some sort, because I thought that would be interesting to explore, because it's not really something that comes up too often in historical pieces, since they didn't understand what PTSD was until like the 20th century. So Seth gets in like a little skirmish that gives him PTSD, and the only time he feels safe is when he's like with Laura, like kind of intimately. So like, it doesn't have to be all about that, but there is like a, like being held.
There's a motivation to get to that point.
Yes. And it's like, this is embarrassing, so sorry, Mom, if you're watching, but I was told that it was too salacious, so I had to tone it down a lot because of the PTSD. It came up a lot, and in my defense, I wrote it in like lockdown when nobody saw each other, so it was a lot easier to write people like this, because like there's nothing out there. So yeah, I had to tone down a lot. And that's all I'll say on that.
I'm a big fan of salacious. My mom.
Yeah, I've already had like 5 people message me and say, "Can you send me the unedited version when it's out?" So.
That's a newsletter thing. That right there is that's a newsletter bonus. So Maddie's going to pop her socials in the comments of this, and you want to sign up for her newsletter. So when she sends out the salacious version, you get to read that one too. That's definitely a newsletter thing. So how many more books are in the series?
There are just 3. So these 2 take place during the war itself, and then the third hero is actually Seth's best friend, and so he's in post-war, where he's a privateer and he's dealing with his own issues. Like he had a debilitating injury that kept him from returning to his cobbling job when he comes back. So he has to like reinvent himself. So he goes on a ship, and this is my first one in the UK because he gets on a ship and ends up shipwrecked in a fictional European town.
So we got to see a little bit of what Emily's rabbit hole looks like when she was looking up town names before we started recording.
Don't out me.
But I'm curious, Maddie, for you, what's the research process like? You know, like what
For the towns or just anything?
No, for anything, not the towns was just that was a side tour. No, just
sorry.
for like the series in general and the historical time period and all of that.
It's as chaotic as my writing process itself, because I am not a planner or a plotter. It just happens. So usually it's just kind of like stream of conscious, like, oh, what's this? That's actually how I discovered like camp followers, because I'm just researching the camp life in general. And that's when you learn like, oh, women were actually deeply involved in the army, and you wouldn't know it because it doesn't come up too often. There was only one book that I could find on it. So it's not the topic. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, for town names, I actually just used an ancestor name, or my ancestor, William Leet, was the governor of Connecticut. So I just took the name Leet and put Leetsville. So
cool.
like a little homage there. Yeah, aside from like, I don't know, because I like look up a lot of things with like medicine. I'm really interested in the historical medicine. So at one point I do want to write about like a series about doctors and stuff, historical doctors, of course. But that came up with like in book 1 when Benjamin became addicted to laudanum. I had to look up a whole, all the, like I found like a first-hand account, which is really cool. It was a letter written by a woman about her addiction. So I used that, and that helped way more than the cut and dry symptoms being listed. So, guess that's about it.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. What made you decide to write in the Revolutionary War period?
Happy accident. Because I've been kicking around the idea of self-publishing, which I didn't do. And I had written a book that took place in like 1857, and then there was a curse that went back 70 years. And so when I went back to the prequel, it took me during the American Revolution, and I was like, hey, this is actually really interesting. So
cool.
I just started a new series there. Yeah.
Very cool.
So
very cool.
Usually research brings me to those periods.
Yeah. We'll look forward to the last one that comes out then. And then we had one more book this week that came out, and that is Patricia Wilson's book, and it's A Symphony for the Earl, and it's book 1 in the Merricks. And we'll catch up with Patricia another time, because this is her Dragonblade debut, so I want to make sure we get a chance to talk to her about that as well. So, but we have a little bit of extra time, and I was really curious. Mary, you said you were going to miss your characters, and Emily, you've been with these people for 13 books. Can we talk a little bit about what it's like to attach to imaginary people? You know.
I mean, sure, my imaginary friends and I were real close. No, I think I guess there's two things that I guess I would say. Is that one, because I am a plotter, I know how many books a series is going to be well in advance before I write a single word of the first book. And so I know there's an end date. I know that it's going to come to an end. None of my series to date have been open-ended. They've always had an idea in mind, you know, a series of brothers or a family member or a series of friends, or, you know, 4 people who will meet at the same finishing school for the young ladies. There's always been a kind of an ensemble cast that kind of comes to mind, but then there's no story going beyond them, because part of the story is their relationships to each other.
The structure.
Yeah, and I think the second thing I would say is, yes, we have favorites. And no, we're not going to say which. Only my editor is allowed to know which of my heroines and which of my heroes are my favorites. But I say that because yesterday I finished off the edits for book 17. Yes, so thank you, Amy. And book 18 and 19 have some of my favourites in, and I chose specifically to put them near the end of the series. Number one, to motivate me to keep going, because if there were books 8 and 9, the series might have ended at 10. But also because they're such rich characters, because they're so fleshed out in my mind, they probably make the most cameos. So by the time readers meet them in their own books, you know these people already. And so the story can get a lot more complex and a lot more complicated, because I don't need to sit there and go, right, here is the person, here is their backstory, here's what they like, here's what they hope for in the future, because you already know most of that. And if you don't, and you drop in that book, we cover that very quickly. But they're such realistic, strong people, because I've lived with them for 4 years, that I find that they're a lot more believable, or at least it's easier to write them as more believable. Does that make any sense?
It does it makes a lot of sense. And I think Jennifer Lynn Barnes, I think, is the one that talked about the difference between characters that are created and real people, and how we can get more attached, even just as readers or people who watch movies or TVs, we can get more attached to characters that we feel emotionally invested in than in people that we just happen to be sitting next to. So.
Yeah, and I think there are characters especially in the Chances series, that I'm more like as a person, or they're more like, they've got more in common with my friends, the people that I've chosen to be my chosen family. You know, their kids are my nieces and nephews, even though we're not blood related, they're part of my life. And so when I write a character and I'm like, oh, so-and-so's just like this, I'll pluck that particular characteristic and pop it in this heroine. I am naturally more in love with her, and I want her to succeed a little bit more, because I'm like, well, she's kind of like so-and-so, and she's kind of a mix of this person and that celebrity and that dream I had, and off she goes into the book and has an adventure. But that's not to say that I don't love certain heroes. I love them all. They're all my favorites, except some of them are more favorite than others.
What happens when bad things happen?
Bad things don't happen to my characters. So unlike Mary, who kills people off for fun, right in
the title, there's no hiding it. There's a dead body right
there. So slightly flippant, but my romances are joyful and witty and humorous and light. There are sad moments, but they are usually about difficulties that one has experienced in the past. So the loss of a loved one as a child, which is deeply sad and deeply traumatic and deeply shapes who they are as an adult, but it's not a recent bereavement. It's not a recent grief. So I try to keep, most of my shenanigans are a little bit slapstick, a little bit witty, a little bit silly, and you should be going, oh, not crying.
Perfect.
I don't think people cry when they read my romances. If you have read one of my books and cried, please let us know in the comments. I would be fascinated to know.
And which book and at which part too?
Yes, I think the only, much like Madeline, Matty, I have disabled characters in some of my books, not all of them, but some of them, and a lot of them because of the era. Some are born that way, and some are made that way through circumstance. And I did have a reader. I had a hero who had his leg amputated above the knee due to a war injury. And the book is essentially about, he hires a horse trainer to help him learn to ride, and ta-da, the horse trainer's a woman. Oh, so much fun. But there is a very emotional scene there where he falls and he can't get up, and it's just a very quick moment. It's not, the whole book isn't about tragedy. It's just this moment, and it's designed as an author at the beginning to let you see just how different his life is now, that he's having to completely learn how to walk, which is one of the most fundamental things. And I had a reader, a lovely lady who I won't name, contact me, and she was like, I had that amputation and I had a moment where I fell. And she was like, I brought it all back, but I realized that, you know, your character was able to learn to walk and to run and to ride and do all the things that he loved, and so have I. And that made me cry. It didn't make her cry, but it made me cry.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
that's
yep, straight to the feels.
Yep,
straight to the feels.
Right to the feels. Mary, you said you were going to miss your characters in the Silver and the Gray. Do you think about them when you're writing other things? Do they pop into your head sometimes?
They do sometimes, yeah, but I'm trying not to let them, because obviously I have to move on now. But they do crop up.
Yeah, because you've been with them for 9 books. That's a long time.
It is, and I didn't originally plan it to be that long, because originally, a because I chose to have the same couple as the main character throughout the series. So I thought, well, 5 books is probably enough, because getting,
Yeah.
falling in love, getting married, and solving mysteries. I thought once they're married, that's it. So I thought marry them off at the end of book 5 and then wave them off into the sunset. But then I had more ideas for them to move on, and Dragonblade seemed to want them. So we moved on for another 4. And so you had to delve a little bit deeper into what would keep them together and what would keep them interested in each other as well as in what they were doing. So yeah,
the tension of the relationship and the tension of the mystery at the same time.
Yeah. And so that, yes, the personal had to get more personal, and things that maybe don't come up when you're just newly falling in love with somebody, and then before they actually, the nitty gritty of marriage and living with this person, and dealing with the day-to-day stuff that always comes up, and that might
before they leave wet towels on the floor. Yeah.
And the socks.
Yeah, socks everywhere. I'm talking about me. My husband is far tidier and cleaner than I am. Unfortunately, he's had to adapt.
Well, I'm glad he does. More than mine ever does. But then I'm kind of untidy myself, so I can't complain.
There is something about that. You're now with this person forever that takes on like an extra weight to everything, and getting to watch the couple go through that is like, I think that's fascinating sometimes. So, and if you're with them for 9 books, you know them really well too. Like they've been with you for a long time.
That's it. You start worrying about them, and so wait, hang
on. Bad
on.
things do happen to your characters, so.
Yeah, they do, but not in such a terrible way. Not to the main characters, very often. So I mean, I'm still alive, so this is good.
There's a lot of like quantifying there of like, it's not that bad, it's just kind of a little bad. So what's up next for you?
It's another mystery romance series. This one's a Regency set one rather than Victorian, and it's a bit sort of lighter hearted because it's called the Irreverent Clergyman series, and the main character is he's a duke's son, but he's very much a younger son. He's the youngest son of a lot of them. And he's got no chance of ever inheriting the dukedom, so he has to have something to do with himself. Others are in the army and stuff, so he's been sort of filed into the church, and he thought this was really funny because he's anything but churchly. He's a bit of a debauched type character. He loves a good time, but then he happens to find himself in Brussels during the Battle of Waterloo, and he sort of, I won't say he discovers a vocation precisely, but he discovers he can be useful, and it's made him rethink a lot of things.
Oh, nice.
So when he comes home, he decides that what he wants to do is actually be a churchman, but not, his father wants him to be, follow the hierarchy of the Church of England and become probably Archbishop one day, but that's not what he wants to do. He wants to be a parish minister. He wants to
help people.
The pastoral man, but his father is against it, so he has to sort of talk someone into taking him on. So he turns up as the curate of some rural parish where somebody that he knows, in fact, is murdered. So he ends up having to. He is in fact the prime suspect, so he has to find out who really did it, so he can get off the hook.
So his name, yeah.
And because he's a slightly odd minister, so he's a yeah, he's a suspicious character because he doesn't seem to take anything very seriously, but in fact he does. So I kind of like him. He's an interesting character.
Yeah, I can tell while you're talking that you like him. I love that when authors are attached to their characters. It makes it extra fun for us, I think, as readers. So awesome. Well, ladies, it's been delightful talking to you today. I really appreciate you taking the time. I want to just take 1 minute and talk about the Dragonblade Kickstarter because I'm freakishly excited about it. The pre-launch is live now, so you can click it. You'll see the gorgeous covers. They're purple. They have flowers on. They have flowers inside. They have sprayed edges. They have step back images. Like, they're just beautiful. They're just beautiful. Dar did just, like, every time she'd send over a graphic, Natalie and I would be like, oh, it's so pretty, because they're so pretty. So what you want to do is, when you see the Kickstarter, and I'll pop the link in the comments, just click notify me on launch. It's going to go live in the beginning of in a couple weeks, in the beginning of first part of July. So click notify me on launch, and then Kickstarter will email you when the campaign goes live, so you can see what all the different tiers are. Part of that, in addition to those gorgeous books, is Catherine wrote Bessie Devlion's origin story.
So ready.
Lion's Queen.
So ready.
So if you've been waiting to find out, that's your very first chance to read it, and the only way you'll be able to read it for a period of time is to get it through the Kickstarter. And the ebook will deliver the same way, you can read it the same way you read all your other ebooks, and we'll make sure we put instructions for everything so you don't get lost. But just click notify me on launch.
And I have signed up for that because I want to be notified. I'm already signed up. I'm one of it's over 100 people now waiting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I refresh a couple of times a day, and then I go into Teams and go, look now, look. It's been such a passion project for Natalie and I, because it's just, the books are just gorgeous. And she got them shipped to her, and then she held them up for me on camera so I could see so I could see the shine and everything. They're beautiful. You're going to love them. You're going to want them, and you're definitely going to want the Lion's Queen. So notify me on launch, and I will put the link to that. I will put the links to all the books, including Lauren's book and Patricia's book, so you can grab them if you haven't gotten them already. Dragonblade books are still the best deal on pre-order, but right the beginning part of pre-order. But you can always read them in Kindle Unlimited, which means if you fall in love with the 20 book series, or if you fall in love with the 9 book series,
binge these books.
There's no barrier to entry, just one to the other, like chiclets. Like chiclets, the candy, not chiclet.
What? Is this an American thing? What?
You don't have chiclets?
As in baby chickens?
No, those are chicks. Patty, do you know what chiclets are?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The little they're like fruity gum kind of thing, like squares.
Well,
Yeah.
if you are watching, readers, and you do not live in America, we also don't know. Mary and I also don't know what's happening.
M&Ms.
M&M's, yeah.
What's that got to do with chickens? I'm so confused.
It's not chickens, Emily. There are no chickens in this.
You don't know lots of things about Britain. I can't know everything about America.
I keep doing that peace sign thing, and I sit on my hands now because I didn't know.
It's fine in America. Just every other country in the whole world, that's not acceptable.
I know. I showed my partner, and he's like, "You did what?" I was like, "I don't know." For us, it's just fingers.
So this is a deep cut for those who watch every single one of these videos. Sorry, Evelyn, I completely got off the tangent.
That's okay. No chickens. The whole point of the rant was that you can read 20 books under your subscription without having to think about anything else. So
I'm going to do that.
Off you go to read, and we'll be back here next week. Thanks so much, ladies. I appreciate you taking the time.
Everyone. Bye.
Thank you.